Hi everybody. In this series, we're going to look at how we can explore verbs in the LingDocs Pashto dictionary. And while we do that, we'll see what we can learn about grammar and about phrase structure and all kinds of fun stuff. So, in this LingDocs Pashto dictionary, when you look up a verb, let's say we look up rasidal, to arrive, then you click on it and you can see the roots and stems of the verb. So, every verb in Pashto will have a set of roots and stems like this. The stems on the top, and these things on the top, this is what we use for the non-past verbs, like things like present verbs, subjunctive verbs, future verbs, imperative verbs. And then on the roots on the bottom, this is what we use for past tense verbs, like perfect, simple past and continuous past. And the past participle we use for other things and for the perfect form of verbs. The other thing you notice is that we have a left side and a right side. So on the left side, these are our imperfective root and stem. So we use this side to talk about things that are ongoing, or things that were repeated or continuous or in process. So it's like we're looking at things through a video camera. This is the imperfective aspect in grammar. And on the right side, we use this side to talk about things in the perfective aspect. So this is things that is like a one-time, an event that just happens. It's like a snapshot of activity. It's like you're looking at something as a whole, as a complete thing, like a picture. We're looking at it as if we're looking at the verb with a camera. So the camera or the perfective aspect is used on this side, and on this side is the imperfective aspect. You can think of it like a video camera. So let's see how we actually use these things to make the different tenses. So when we go down here, we can look at the charts. Let's start with the present. And so we can see that the present verb, we can look at what formula is used, is you use the imperfective stem and a present verb ending. So we're going to use the imperfective stem and the present verb ending to say zarasigam is I arrive or I'm arriving. Tarasigi, you arrive or you arriving. Hagarasigi is he is arriving or he arrives. And then we can also look at this as phrases instead of the charts. So we say if I arrive, then it's zarasigam, like that. So let's look at the next tense. If we look at the next tense, it's subjunctive. Now we're going to use the perfective stem plus the present verb ending. And you can look at what these things are in the Pashto grammar. But so now we're looking at using the perfective stem over here on this side. So if I say zavurasigam, it's like that I should arrive, or that so that I will arrive, or let me arrive, that kind of thing. If we talk about the imperfective future, zabarasigam, that's ba with the present form with a ba added on the end. The perfective future is ba with the subjunctive with a ba added on, zabawurasigam, like that. Continuous past is zarasidalam. So now we're using the imperfective root and the past verb ending. So now we're using this part, rasidal. Zarasidalam, and you can use the long form or the short form. So here's rasidal or just rasid. So zarasidam or zarasidalam, like that. And then with a simple past, then we have zawurasidalam. So now we're using the perfective root and the past tense ending like that. Zawurasidalam. So here we can see whatever tenses we're using, we're just following some simple formulas, and we're using the roots and stems for each verb. And whatever tense we're making with whatever verb, we follow the same formulas. We just take the stems and the roots and we follow the formulas. And you can look in the grammar to see all of the formulas. And I'll just throw it up on the screen here right now for a second, and you can go in there and read more yourself. So whatever the verb we use, it'll always give us these roots and stems. Like if I see the word lidal, then it's going to have these four roots and stems. Or notice this one's a bit irregular. This one has, look on the stems, it's ween and lidal are totally different. But some of them will look more regular. It'll be like likal. Here we've got the stems and the roots look pretty similar actually. And one thing else, another thing to notice is that on the right side we have like a perfective head is what we'll call it, where it kind of splits off like this wu in the front. It's used as a perfective marker or a perfective head, and that can split off as another block in the sentence, and we'll see later how we can use that. But just to know that these ones here, there's like a split on the front side with a wu on the front. A lot of verbs will put a wu to kind of to show that it's on the perfective side, but some verbs won't. Some verbs like kena stil. This is really cool. Here there is no wu head in front of it, but you kind of split off the first syllable of the word. So the split happens in the first syllable. And there's no wu thing. So this is interesting because there's no wu perfective head on the right side. The only difference between the imperfective root and the perfective root here is that the accent is different. Look at this. Kenastal is on the imperfective side, and the perfective side is kenastal. That means if we're going to talk about, let's look at the past tense, and let's say if we use a simple past uses the perfective root and a past tense verb ending. So za kenastalum or za kenastam. So that we're using the perfective root there, kenastal. But if we say something in the continuous past, then it's going to be the imperfective root and the past verb ending. So there it's kenastal is the root. So it's za kenastalum or za kenastam. So here's a huge difference in meaning and just a very slight difference in sound. So the simple past, just saying I sat down, is za kenastam. And the continuous past, to say I was sitting down or I would sit down or I was going to sit down, would be za kenastalum. Listen, za kenastalum or za kenastalum. Or if we use the short forms, za kenastam, za kenastam. So again, with all of these verbs and all of these forms, we are just following these same formulas, and we're taking the stems and the roots and building these verbs. So you can play around and see what's happening here and read up more about exactly how this works in the grammar app. And in the videos ahead, we're going to look at how the whole phrase structure works and how it's going to change when we use different kinds of verbs.